Yeah, man. We go back, man. 60 years. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day and I'll send all my loving to you. Today's February 9, 2024. 60 years ago today. February 9, 1964. The Beatles first appeared on Ed Sullivan. This is the DVD set I received as a gift from my friend Janet that has all the Ed Sullivan shows that the Beatles appeared on in their completion. And I tell you, the commercials, the other acts, I mean, come on. Frank Gorshin. Who else did I love on here? Mitzi Gaynor is unbelievable. Myron Cohen, just great. Cab Calloway, Cilla Black, Soupy Sales, unbelievable. But anyway, today's February 9, and I'm pumped because the Marbletown Boys are up in Woodstock tonight. Also have my Beatles shirt on for the gig. Thank you to my sister, the Bean. So big day. And that was goofing around with the reggae. You know, when the Beatles started at the Jacaranda Club, they were heavy into reggae. So I just fooled around because I can't play the Lennon. The famous triplets, right? But there's a more important song that I want to do today, and another big dedication today that's just as important as the Beatles to me. So I'd like to sing February 9. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Well, happy birthday, dear starter. Happy birthday to you. And a whole bunch more. That's right. 5 years ago today, February 9, 2019, I started this sourdough starter from scratch with just flour and water. And it's been alive ever since. And I'd like to point out 2019, before the sourdough craze of the 2020 into 21 pandemic, where everybody started doing their sourdough. But in my opinion, it's kind of like a post-New Year's gym membership. I know a million people who started it during that craze and have long since given it up. But this sourdough starter has been alive in my kitchen since February 9, 2019. So it was only fitting that I got it a little birthday present. Oh, and by the way, I've done, I think, at least 2 shows around this time of the anniversary. I think one was like our 2nd or 3rd show, Start Me Up, of the old Come On in My Kitchen. But I did purchase a little birthday present for this thing. So happy birthday, starter. Here we go. Because this jar has been sort of makeshift. I've used everything over the years. I've used tall mason jars. I've used big straight line mugs. This has been the most recent vessel. But if you notice, it's got these ridges and it gets narrower at the top. It's not the ideal starter vessel. It's just something I had in my kitchen. So this I really like. Let me show you how I picked this out. This is first we've got this nice silicone spatula, if I can get it open. Use the old teeth. That's awesome for scraping down. And the actual vessel, as you can see, this is glass, not plastic. It's got an airtight top, but it also has a cloth top, right? when you feed your starter, at first you want it to breathe. So you can leave it out on the counter with the cloth top to let it breathe. If you're not going to be feeding every day, which I do not, because I don't bake all that often. So I let the starter go somewhat dormant in the fridge. So just like that other jar, now I have my airtight top for the refrigerator. You have here milliliters for filling. I've got a tack-on thermometer, very similar to when I used to make beer and wine, on the side of the vessel. You peel this off and stick it on, and it reads the temperature. That's pretty convenient. Although I don't use temperature a lot with mine. Maybe I will now, who knows. And then this little thing slips over, and if you see this line here, it says last fed on. So let's say today is Friday the 9th. It's approximately 3 p.m. So I'll go Friday, 3 p.m. And then you can turn this to keep an eye on when your last feeding was. Again, I'm not that critical. I do things by intuition and by looking at it, smelling it, stirring it, etc. But these were neat little features. The main thing was the straight glass jar. So I just opened the box. Let me give this a good wash and dry, get the factory oils out of it, and then we're just going to feed the starter. That's our show today. We're not really going to cook because I have the gig. Bill will be here soon. We're doing grass-fed burgers. I just took the buns out of the oven. I have a nice garden potato soaking for the Breville toaster oven baked fries. So burgers and fries before the gig. But today, let's just feed this starter. Wish it a happy birthday, and I'll be on my way to the gig. Okay, I just pointed out, cleaned her up, dried her up. I pointed out all these nice markings and that band and everything, but I'm going to go by weight, as I always have, because that's what I'm comfortable with. So I've got my little scale set on grams. Let's get this on here, and this is kind of a loose starter here. It's a little on the wet side, so I'm going to add a little more flour than water. Let's go there. We're about I'll go about 250 mil. Okay, flour. So that's, right now we're at 664. So let's zero this out. Now, I haven't used this jar before. I don't want to overdo it. I may have already overdone it because I don't want it growing over the top of the jar. I think that's what might happen. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to semi-feed it. I'm not going to try to do even amounts. So that's 129 grams of flour. Let me get some water. And I'll put about 100 grams. 91. Let's see how that looks when I stir it up. I like doing this with a chopstick, actually. Yeah, let me get my chopstick. Gives me more control. Oh, wait a minute. Duh. What am I saying? I think you guys are way ahead of me already. Listen, I just opened the box. The silicone, let me wash it. Forgot it was even here. Oh yeah, this is the tool, baby. All right. Scrapes the sides nicely. Oh, this vessel is so much better than that other one. I was always cleaning out those ridges. So that's a nice, that looks, see now after doing this for 5 years, a lot of it is eyeball. That looks like a real nice hydration to me. So, Scrape this beauty down. And that's it. Now what I'm going to do, it is currently 3 p.m. I am going to pop on the old breathable top and just leave this beauty out on the counter. I've got a feeling it's probably going to overflow. I might take some out. I'm just going to let it get started because it will grow. And what I'll do is I'll turn this camera back on when I get home from the gig later tonight, and we'll take a look at it. It should be prime, ready to go, even though I'm not baking sourdough this weekend. I just did these hamburger buns with actual active yeast. So I don't want to get started with the sourdough, but I do want to keep this baby happy. So we will check it later tonight when I get home. I'll see you then. Come on, let's do it. All right. Pardon my voice. 11:26, just getting in. Great fun at the gig. However, the monitor situation was nil. So I couldn't hear a thing. But hey, everybody there loved it. So what are you going to complain? But anyway, let's check our starter. Let me flip this camera around here. And I don't even remember. What time was that when we did that this morning? I don't even know. But it's 11:26 p.m. Well, let's do the flow test. I got some water in this bowl. Nope, that sunk to the bottom. All right, let's leave it till the morning. See what happens. All right, it's Saturday morning. Yes, I slept in the Beatles shirt. Getting ready to shower and change and get out the door for some groceries. It's 11 a.m. So I'm out of here soon. But last night when I got home, as you noticed, I was exhausted from the gig. We checked the flow test. I just left it out on the counter all night. Let's have another test. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's do it. I freshened up the water bowl. Let's do a Saturday morning float test. Looks good because we even got a little more rise. Almost to the top of the jar. Let's see where we're at. Nice and bubbly. There we go. This sourdough starter is ripe and ready to bake with. See that? Floating right on top. Smells amazing. As I mentioned, I am not going to bake with this today because, like I said, yesterday I made the grass-fed burgers for Bill and I before the gig, and I still have 6 beautiful homemade hamburger buns. So I am going to have and I have 1 burger left over that I think I'm going to slice in half and flatten down real thin and have a thin burger patty on this with a fried egg on top. Maybe a little cheddar melt. So, success on the new jar. I am totally pumped. Happy birthday, starter. 5 years. And now what I'll do is put the airtight and put this in the fridge, and then it can literally rest in there for weeks at a time. It just goes dormant, and then the next time I want to bake, because right now we're at float test, and to make a really nice sourdough loaf, I would start the bread today, and it's a whole 3-day process with the rise and the ferment. And that's the beautiful thing about sourdough. You don't have to be guilted out about your gluten, this, that, and the other, because the whole fermenting process of not using yeast, using the actual live starter, and then the long ferment of the bread, basically processes most of that gluten down. So if you want to eat a little bit of bread every now and then, and you're being a little health conscious, sourdough is the way to go. I'll see you for the next episode. Come on, let's do it. A little bit of ketchup dab of Frank's Hot